Hi, my name is Bob Brennan, and I'm going to be showing you the van that I have. It's a 2019 Sprinter. It was purchased in the fall of 2020. It's a 170 extended 4x4 6-cylinder turbo diesel Mercedes. Do an exterior walk around here real quick. It's a great van. It sits pretty nice. It's got airbags that you can kind of adjust the height a little bit in the back, and it has helper springs. So no aftermarket suspension added to this at this time. Part of the reason is once you start doing that, you're going to compromise your fuel mileage, and that's going to be your decision. But currently it gets around 15-16 miles to the gallon configured the way it is. So nice van. We're going to give you a full tour of it here. Hopefully you enjoy it. Oh, and I want to give a shout out and a thank to Scott Olson, my two sons, Terry and Spencer, for helping me. My friends Matt Forrest, Sean Lawler, for helping out, and a bunch of other people that stepped in at times to give me a hand with this. Hope you like it. So this is a ladder by Prime Design. Great ladder. I like these ladders off the back because they're out of the way of the airflow for aerodynamics. I guess I understand if you mount it on the side, you can get roof access to clean things, but you can do that as well here. You'll see in a minute, there's a runway where you can get up there from behind here and then clean the solar panels. Great little ladder. So this is the cargo area. It's pretty decent. I would say it's about 6.5 feet long and probably 4.5 feet wide. We snap in a Yakima or a Thule. I think it's a Thule cargo container. It's like a ski container. Just, gosh, I don't know. I want to say it's about 5 feet long, but it fits in here perfect. But obviously, you could tie down various things. If you didn't have anything up here, you could hang out here or whatever, so to speak. But it's pretty sturdy, as you can see. And I think there's a cool feature of this rack is just, again, plenty of room to put stuff up here. Okay, so we have some rescue boards here. Right now they're loose, but they're typically roped down with bungees, which are fine. I have them flat up here just for aerodynamic purposes. Great boards. I haven't used them, but they're there for emergencies. Moving forward, we have 400 watts of solar. This is Renogy 100 watt panels, 4 of them. So they're kind of their package. Well, they're 400 watt package. So there's a Renogy MTTP, whatever you want to call it, regulator package, if you will. There's a MaxxAir fan that has a remote. We have on there as well. And then going even more forward, there's an off-road light bar. It's bright. If you get brighter than that, I guess you're in a different world than I am. So there's little pockets that you could potentially tie down small items. There's what I call a catwalk along here that you could potentially come along and clear off your solar panels with snow and whatnot if you needed to during the winter. And you can kind of see how the Fiamma is bolted to the rack itself, so it's secured very well. So part of the rack is this front fairing, which is integrated into the rack. It's welded to the rack, but I think it does an effective job helping to buffer the wind, if you will, over the rack for most of the items. So this is just kind of the light segment. In order for these off-road lights to be on, the vehicle more or less has to be running. So you can see it's plenty bright. And then we've got side lights all the way around the van. So there's 2 basically LED lights off at each side. So if for whatever reason you need to light up the area, we can do that with the way it's configured right now. So a little bit about this van overall. So this is the base chassis. It's a 170 extended 4-wheel drive with this 6-cylinder turbo diesel. When I got it, it had no windows. So let's just do a little window tour, if you will. So these are put in their CR, is it CR? CL Lawrence, CR Lawrence. So those were put in professionally. This is a bunk window. Again, CR Lawrence, put in professionally. Another CR Lawrence window. This is a vent window, which is kind of handy because when you see inside, it's adjacent to, let's say, the cooking area. So if you need to vent air in, it's pretty cool. So, and then one more window here in the front. And that's this, or in the side, I should say, another window. I don't think it's CR Lawrence. I think it's the window wholesale window, if you will, out of San Diego. Had a neighbor put it in professionally. So I cut it out, but he actually did the installation. So that's it for windows. So these come with wheel arches. They're Terra Wagon wheel arches that just go from here to here to kind of connect it, give it a more of a polished look. Also, there is just a fixed running board here, car running board on the driver's side. We just wanted that as more of a permanent deal. We'll go over here to the passenger side. So this is AMP Research running boards. They're pretty cool. They've got LED lights light up. And then you open the slider or that drops down. Really nice running boards there. And then there's outriggers for the Fiamma awning, which we'll do a quick segment on what that looks like. So there's one there, one here. The awning is approximately 14 feet. It's up there, mounted on our roof rack. Great awning. So it's a manual awning. It's not automatic, so you do have to use a extension to open it up. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So this is the awning, the Fiamma awning, all the way out. I believe it's a 14-footer. Again, it's a manual. Got obviously the lights on for effect. So there's a manual crank for the Fiamma awning. This is a great world-class awning. All kinds of coverage here. And then this is configured. There's my son, Terry. Hi, Terry. Hi. So this is configured for outrigger mode, if you will. Obviously, there's stakes that go with this. So if you're in a grassy area, you can just run a straight up and down configuration and then just stake it. So, but these outrigger positions are pretty nice. They're glued to, or 3M double taped to the van, so there's no piercing of the van, or what I think is an opportunity for us. So it's just great coverage on a rainy day or light rain. You can just hop out here and have great coverage. So this is our flip down countertop, which is nice for meal prep, or if you're gonna have a little cocktails or something outside here. So this just flips down, stays in place. All our wood surfaces are acacia. So you just set your induction stovetop here, literally just plug it right in. Right now the power's off, but you get the idea. It just plugs in right here. You cook right here. It's kind of handy. This sink is right here, so if you needed water or something, you can just fill it up and continue cooking or what have you. So pretty handy. So again, there's 3 positions for the induction stovetop that you can plug into for cooking. And then this here is a 3-gallon gray water tank for the sink. We would have gone with a bigger one, but literally couldn't find anything that would fit in there. So at this point, this is a 3-gallon tank. It seems to suit the needs, so to speak. But that goes right there. So this is obviously a lagoon table. It's got a custom pedestal down here. The reason for that was to get the optimal positioning. There's 3 positions that you'll either see pictures of or live action of for this table. So it's you know, these Lagoon tables are wonderful. You can swing them out, configure them however you want to configure them. This one is obviously height adjustable. It's, you know, this can swivel accordingly. And again, you're going to see pictures of this in the various positions, including linked to this flip-up table. So let's just show this real quick. So this flip-up table gives you a ton of counter space or workspace for meal prep or whatever it is you're going to do in here. So you're going to see this, a few pictures where we're going to link this. It doesn't come up to the same height, it's just below it, but effectively you've got this big L shape that you could probably, you know, create a huge meal in here for somebody, or just work surface area and whatnot. So so Terry will include some pictures in this video to show those configurations. So these are the tables that fit back here, and they can be configured a couple different ways. They can be turned lengthwise, so you have one big table. It's a little tricky though, getting back here to do that, but it can be done. And then when these tables are not being used as tables, they fill the gap between the two bench seats, and then the cushions come together, and this is one sleeping berth, if you will. So here is the carpet throughout the van. Now, currently there's two pieces. There'll always be just two pieces, but there are different configurations that I have a third piece of carpet for, which we'll talk about here when you don't travel with those seats there. We'll show you in a second. But it's pretty straightforward. It just snaps at key points, revealing the Holley and teak flooring. I put the carpet in just to offer some protection for the flooring so it doesn't get scuffed up over time. But also in the winter, you know, it's a little more comfortable. This is a four-season van. So here again is the, you know, how this all snaps in, revealing this. This is stainless, and then it snaps along the front there. And then there's two more in the positions which seem to be holding it fine. Now, let's talk about these seats. Basically, this is configured to travel with four people belted. If there were one or two of you and you didn't want to travel with these two folks, there is this seat comes out, this whole carpet section comes out, and then there is a box that goes in there. It's kind of a, call it a couch, but it's a storage box with padding on it that you could sit there conceivably and work at this desk. And then that requires a different carpet piece that I have for that as well. So it's, again, it looks sharp. It snaps in a very similar manner. And you've got, you know, full coverage, if you will. This is, again, going to be handy, I think, in the winter. It's just going to be that much warmer. Now there's 2 inches of polyiso insulation underneath the floor, which certainly helps. But then it's also going to, again, help with wear and tear on the floor itself. So this is a pretty generous sink for an RV, especially an RV this size. So it's 15 by 17. Stainless steel drop-in sink, and as you can see, it's a stainless steel countertop. The reason I made this big was the number one complaint I've heard about people in RVs is the sink's not big enough. And I think as you travel, you know, you're going to find yourself just sticking, you know, things in the sink. It's just kind of a safe place for things to go, if you will. More importantly, I mean, if you have to do dishes for 4 or whatever, you know, you have the ability to do it. So here is the kitchenette area. Finally got the backsplash done and just kind of cleaned up the stainless here. What's left to be done is a silicone bead put along here along the edge and up the corner. So that'll be done either in silver or clear at this point. But other than that, that is the kitchen area, and then the induction stove top gets set right there. And you can cook anywhere along this area here. Okay, so this is one of our favorite features, or features we're proudest of. It's our stainless steel shower. I think it's plenty of room. If you're probably 6'2", 6'3", you're still gonna fit in here. Any taller, it might be a little bit of a chore. But you may have seen a previous video, again, hot water heater, 3-gallon hot water heater. You're probably gonna get, you know, 3 to 5 minute sailor shower in this thing. And then the other feature too is this stool goes over our little cassette toilet, and then it's designed to come out here. And you'll see in our bed feature, we've got a bed above me that drops down. So this acts as a way to get up, just step on there, and you can step into the bed pretty easy. But then kind of dual purpose, maybe even 3 purposes, in that if you want to use this to if you want to use this to, you know, as a bench outside even, you could do that as well. So but again, the shower is pretty nice in terms of, you know, it's stainless, well finished. It's got a motion detector light, obviously, and then a Dometic cassette chemical toilet. All right, these are the 2 tall cupboards and spaces that we have. So all the cupboards have the push button handles that keep the handles closed, and they're all pretty much light up spaces. So these lights are kind of cool in that they're motion detector. Now they're LED, obviously, and then they have lithium batteries in them, and USB chargers. So those come off because they're magnetic, they're stuck on there, and then you can just charge them right off our USBs. So all kinds of space in here for things. And then that's the hot water heater. I don't plug it in all the time. I just plug it in when I know we're going to use it. So all kinds of space on this side here. And again, how the construction goes too. Everything's welded aluminum. It's bolted to L brackets, and then it's bolted down into the floor. This isn't going to move. Being a 4-wheel drive vehicle, you're going to go through bumps and jumps and gosh knows what. Last thing you need is to have your cupboards fall apart. So here again on this side, all kinds of room and space to store stuff. Down here we keep the induction stovetop down here, and same construction, welded aluminum, whole 9 yards. This is the upper cabinet. This is where all your some of your cooking utensils, but eating utensils, so your plates or bowls, everything's here. It's kind of built in such a way that there's limited movement. Maybe a little rattling going around the road, but they're not going to flop all around. And then this is your cutting board and just some of your basics for meal prep, and then your silverware, if you will, for eating. So that's that. Again, everything is a button locked in. This is another cabinet. Oh, let's go to this one here. This is kind of cool. This is your garbage cabinet. Again, it's lit up, so kind of handy in that it's just on slides, if you will. Here is your another cabinet we just currently keep, and everything has motion lights. They may not come on right away, but they're LED. They're pretty effective in that sense. Plenty of room there. And again, everything is welded aluminum, bolted to the floor and belted to L-track in the van itself. Again, motion lights may come on and may be a little delayed, but you can keep your Instant Pot, your cooking utensils, all kinds of space in here as well. It's just a typical Sharp microwave. I want to say it's 1400 watts microwave with a turntable. And I guess you can somehow link it to Alexa and have Alexa tell it to cook stuff, I guess. So, but nice microwave. Does its work. Large GE DC fridge. So this runs on electric. You can see there's all kinds of space. There's a freezer area here. You get frozen stuff in there as well. So this works great with the way things are configured. Plenty of room in here. You won't be disappointed. So we're lowering this upper bed down to extensions, so it's configured for, 4 people, if you will, sleeping. So it's 4 linear actuators. What's kind of cool about this too is if you're parked at a odd angle, at least the top people, you can adjust the servos or the actuators to, if it's high on this side, you can lower it. There's some adjustment there, not a lot, because it is a tight configuration the way it's built in there. You could probably have plus or minus 2 or 3 inches of angle that you can change both forwards and back and side to side. So pretty handy that way. And it's not perfect system, but it does work. These are going to come down sooner because they're closer to the motor. Those are going to be behind by about 2 inches. So at this point, I usually stop, even it out a little bit, and get that side even, resume, and then as soon as I hear one hit, I stop the whole process. So you can see these two are, secure. Those still have about a 1/2 inch. So just go over here, reach in, grab these two. Again, when you hear them hit, you can stop. Adjust it accordingly. So this is really stable. Once it's down on these stanchions, these actuators hold downward pressure. So when you're driving in this position, if this is down, it does not rattle. That's pretty cool. I mean, if it's halfway in between, it's going to rattle. There's a lot of play. But if it's down, it's held in position really tight. There's rubber, grommets here or whatever you want to call them. That basically, there's no noise at all. So you should, when you're moving with this, it either should be down on these stanchions or up. So, but nice system. And again, with these lights, you just touch them. So if you're here at night, you're sleeping or getting ready to sleep and you just want to read, you can turn all 3 of the lights on or off just by touching them. And that's true up top here with the upper lights as well. So we have these nifty little headrests that are kind of cool. So these go, once the beds are in position, these headrests just drop in here. And you wouldn't think that's a big deal, but trust me, when you're sleeping and your pillow's kind of going behind the door or whatever the deal is, this little feature really comes in handy. So there's one for up here as well. The same concept. And we'll get pictures of this from the other side. But basically, they just drop down like that and provide a great headboard, if you will. So we'll take a look at this from the inside. So these are the beds in the down position. Again, you can travel this way with them like this as well. It's not a big deal. And then we will show you what it's like to have 6 more bags snapped in the upper rails there and near the upper bed if you're traveling in that configuration as well. So this is this block we talked about earlier, which is kind of handy. Now I'm 5'11" and I can sleep, either one of these berths okay. But if you have a guest that is taller than 5'11", they can kind of make this work, especially with this block. That'll give them an extra 20 inches or so. This is kind of handy. Now, the other reason for this block, if you will, so it's multi-purpose, is for your long friends that are going to stay with you. Cover up the chemical toilet here, but then also this is kind of a nice feature for the rest of us to get up in this berth. You just kind of climb up here and hop in. and you're good to go. And again, these are touch lights, so they turn on and off. So if you're up here getting ready to go to bed, you want to read, you can read, but then when you're done, you just boom, go from there. So this is the cubby space up here where you can keep, you know, a number of things. Right now I have it just keeping the window insulation kit in here. You can see it's pretty nice, good space up there to keep various things. I don't know if you want to show this underside, Terry. So I think it's finished pretty well. Ties in with the rest of the van. So along with all the other features, this comes with insulated windows. So you've got windows for insulation for everything. So we have the front windows, the passenger windows, these two windows, the vent windows. This MaxxAir vent fan is got this. It's kind of slick. It's got magnets. It just boom goes right up there, stays up there. So keeps it nice and toasty warm. Terry, if you want to go in the back, just show them there's the insulation for the back windows and then the two bunk windows. And this really helps keep the van nice and toasty during those winter months. So this is, I think, a pretty cool feature. So this pack system, each one of these comes with, can convert to a backpack. We haven't really used the backpack feature of it, but basically the way this works is, whoever's coming on your adventure with you packs their pack. We've got a total of 8 positions throughout the van, you'll see. But these forward positions are pretty cool. So basically, rather than put a big cabinet here, I thought it was more effective to put something here that was a little more maneuverable in terms of changing your space, your configuration. So these just clip in here with these carabiners, and then you're good to go. So a little bit of movement and traveling, but not too crazy. But it's really handy if you're gonna stay at a hotel, you can just grab your stuff, unclip it. Or if you're at a ski resort, and you're gonna bring your stuff in, again, unclip it, clip it back in, pretty handy. So we'll go over those other positions here in a little bit to show you how that works. The other side of that is when somebody is sitting here, if they should get up and they hit their head, they're hitting something soft versus a hard cabinet and stuff. Okay, so here is the pack system we talked about. So there's your bed. You have 3 packs there, and then you can do 3 more on this side, but this is just an example of how you can go configured. Again, it'd be a total of 8 packs that you would be operating with. This is a diesel heater down here underneath the passenger seat, obviously, and it's a Planar brand, which is actually a Russian diesel heater. And then your controls and everything are right here. Boy, so far it's done a really good job keeping this fan warm. We've had some 15-degree, weather, and it's very effective heating the van. Now the van is insulated with 2 layers of Thinsulate everywhere we can put it. So it's not in this forward bulkhead here per se, but everywhere else throughout the van, the roof, every door is Thinsulated. I think it's a well insulated van from what I can tell. So both of these chairs are swivel chairs. So they swivel. I'm not going to swivel them for you, but pretty straightforward. They just swivel around. More or less, everybody could eat up here if you wanted to. 3 people could eat off of this table, and then this table flips up and that person there can conceivably eat off that table. Switches and lights. These are all the switches for the outdoor lights for the back, or for the sides in the back. And then reading light, obviously pretty straightforward. These lights are pretty handy in that they are dimmable with your fingers, and then turn offable, and then you can increase the brightness accordingly. Switches and gauges. We just have a thermostat here. kind of helps with that. Your battery, where your battery's at in terms of percentages and volts and drain and so forth. So currently we're at 81.8%. These are all your switches, your respective switches for various lights. We have LED runway lights here that also have various color programming. This is your water pump, and then these are the respective lights for the different positions or what have you. MaxxAir fan remote right here, which is kind of handy when you're sleeping. You just kind of grab it, and obviously correlates with the one MaxxAir fan that we have for this. A lot of people have two in a van, and kind of scratch my head on that whole deal. There's a bunch of air flowing through this thing. When you open a window anywhere in here, you can definitely tell it's moving. So this is the electrical system for the van. So basically we have a Victron Orion Tri-Smart unit there that basically takes power from the alternator to charge the batteries. So the batteries are 4 Valence U27-12X 135 amp hour lithium batteries. So plenty of battery storage here. There's an Renogy MTTP solar charge controller there. This is just another Victron, basically a power to manage all the power for all the DC side of things. There's a breaker here for the solar if you need to isolate that as well. And then we have a temperature sensor that goes to a fan for a server type fan. So if the inverter hits a certain temperature, it'll draw air through here and do additional cleaning. Currently the batteries are low or below charge power to run the inverter, but it's a 3,000 watt multi-plus Victron inverter. Really nice inverter. And then you've got all your other electrical stuff here in terms of the main switch. So forgive the video here. I'm gonna just jump back down. So we have a main switch that turns everything off. And then we have the main switch here, circuit switch. So you have your AC switches here. There's room for one more. And then there is all your DC switches here. So for instance, I leave the refrigerator circuit off and the DC heater off. I'm not the diesel heater off because I don't want anybody getting carbon monoxide. I don't want that accidentally coming on. And then there's no reason for us, we don't have anything in the refrigerator right now, so we just pull the circuit deal. So when we're underway, we'll throw, in the winter, obviously, we'll throw these back in. And then if it's summer, there's no reason to have the diesel heater hooked up because, again, I want to reduce or eliminate that carbon monoxide risk. So, but that's still there. There's AC outlets here off the back. There's one in the galley kitchen area, and then there's another one over here as well. That kind of surmises your AC deal there. So in theory, when you drop this down, you can cook off of this. And then there's DC outlets everywhere. And again, there's that other AC outlet over there. That has USB. All the AC has a USB connection too, so if you needed to charge something off of that, you can as well. So starting underneath here, we have a 30-gallon gray water tank that's held in with aluminum brackets that are secured to the van, and then from there threaded bolt with other aluminum cross brackets. Went with aluminum just because it's lower on the corrosive side and should hold up really well. So this is very secure. It's in there very well. This main drain really is from the shower unit. So also other items underneath here that I want to cover is we have an airbag unit in here along with a helper spring. That's this lower spring right here that was fitted this summer as well. So it's not a heavy build, it's just a build that, you know, it's just nice to have a little more extra suspension once you get all your gear and a few people in here as well. And then moving along to the exterior here, you can see on the very end, we have a 30 amp shore power outlet, so you can plug in. So it's mounted right on the edge here. Open it. So pretty nice unit. So yeah, 30 amp, 125 volt. So, and then here's your air chuck for the airbags. And then we have a 5,000 pound receiver, draw tie receiver here. It's be really great for bike racks as well. These sprinters really weren't designed for towing. Yeah, it's rated for 5,000. I probably wouldn't go north of 3,500, 4,000 max. So here is the tank area for the van. We keep an extra set of chains there for winter travel. Some extra windshield wiper fluid there. And there's a manifold, and then we have a SurePump, a SureFlow water pump right there with filter. This is a 30-gallon tank, and again, plenty of room to keep spare hose. We keep fluid for the cassette toilet here. It's well secured, and then there's plenty of room to keep. Again, we keep our folding chairs and a few other doodads in this compartment, but very serviceable. All this stuff can be taken out if you need to for some reason. Same with the tank, can be removed fairly easily with these tie downs. And then if you can see this, but basically there's your view sight for the tank. Pretty straightforward. Right now you can see it's got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, let's see, 4. So it's probably got less than 10 gallons at this point in it, but that's the tank area. So this is a stock 2019 Mercedes, again 170 extended 4x4 with the 6-cylinder turbo diesel. A little over 11,000 miles. I want to say 1150 on it right now. I do intend on taking it on a ski trip here in a couple of weeks. Probably put close to 3,000 miles on it. So you could have anywhere from 11 to 15,000 miles by the time I'm done. All the recalls have been done on it, and including along here, if you look along here, that seal was replaced, a little bit of wind noise there. So it was malformed, and they went ahead and replaced it. The dealership did, St. Paul Mercedes. Again, all the recalls, there weren't a lot, but a few recalls they went through and did, tightened a few things up. But not a lot of features with this. I mean, it's got cruise air conditioning. It doesn't have the big display panel here. The reversing cameras up there. Again, cruise, assistive braking in terms of hill assist. But other than that, this is your base unit. But still great shape. I think you're gonna like the rest of the build out. And if you take delivery of this unit here today, you'll get the Jarvis 9000 by Stark Industries. Fully capable defense and offensive mechanism that would protect your 2019 Sprinter.